just watch me. Percocet, Percocet, take my mask off. I don't think these people understand why I'm mad. Goddamn, I'm probably never gonna come down from the fucking pedestal I'm on right now. Y'all put me in the sky and I'm feeling myself. Rest in peace to Mac Dre, yeah, I'm tizzing myself. Yeah, I've been drinking, so I'm pissing myself. Damn, I really just pissed myself. What the fuck is going on? Take a hit from my bong and then leave my house. Yeah, singing a song, I'm feeling great. Red Hot Chili Peppers all in my ears. I don't think you understand, dog, this is my year. Fucking A, guys. You guys just let me know if this kind of shit is annoying. I put my own little piece of music in the beginning. I thought, what more perfect of a day. It's beautiful outside. I'm feeling myself. I know that shit's annoying, but I don't even fucking care. It's my podcast, bitch. I do what I want. Anyway, I told you in the last episode, I make shit like that for fun. That's proof. And yeah, hope you enjoy this episode. Last one went so smooth and fluid, talking about one of my drug experiences or one of my trip experiences. I wanted to go ahead and dive into that again with another substance that I experienced some weird shit on. So, I'm gonna talk about that. So sit back, relax, and fucking enjoy. That was really loud. I'm sorry for that. Here you go. Intro music in 3, 2, 1. Probably didn't count that down right.
Who is that nasty?
Zach will kill you and fuck your bitch.
People pay $1 million for one drop of my sperm.
Good fucking morning, everybody. It's early in the morning for me. I don't give a fuck what time it is for you. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, how's everybody feeling? How's everybody doing? I'm okay. I got my coffee. Just like every other episode, we gotta have the fucking essentials. Anyway, so something I want to talk about really quick in the beginning is there's a lot of people that and especially there's a few people at work that I work with, or that work at the same place as me, should I say. They know about my podcast, right? And they'll come up to me randomly sometimes and they'll be like, hey, maybe in the next episode you can talk about this, this thing that I saw on Facebook. And then they'll tell me about it. And then 9 times out of 10, I already know what they're talking about. That's just how social media works, right? But something we need to be really careful of is this not cancel culture. That's something that we need to deal with also. But the clip culture. And what that is these little 30-second, 40-second, maybe even 60-second videos that you're seeing on Facebook. But you're only seeing one narrative, right? So I want to give you an example, a perfect example. Say you could be watching an interview of somebody, right? Somebody's getting interviewed, like a celebrity or something. Or just say you're scrolling through Facebook and you see a 30-second video of your favorite celebrity, right? You click play and it's them saying, oh, fuck white people and this and that about white people. As a white person, they're saying this, right? And you're like, what the hell? Why would they say that? This is ridiculous. So you're all upset and you're mad. You fucking hit share and say some dumb, snarky comment, right? And you're adding fuel to the fire. But if you would take a little bit of time out of your day and do research, look up the original video, right? The original video that is an hour and a half long as opposed to or compared to your 30-second video you saw, right? So now you watch the entire video and you can tell that everything leading up to that person saying that was just a joke, and they were doing an impersonation, or they were just making fun of something. But that 30-second video you saw pushed the narrative that this person hates white people or whatever it was. You're not getting the full story, and you're not doing your research to get the full story before you click share and write some dumbass comment, right? So this is what we see with the media. They share these quick little videos, but it's only a literal fraction of the entire story, right? Like something recent, that video that's been going around on Facebook and all over social media of that white lady pointing a gun at that black lady in the parking lot of that grocery store. And you're like, wow, you see that quick little clip and you're like, this white lady is crazy. She shouldn't have a gun. But you didn't see the rest of the fucking story where she was antagonized and egged on by the black lady who was recording. So the white lady was well within reason not to pull out her gun, but to be very upset about the situation. The black lady who was recording on her phone was blocking in her car and wouldn't let her leave. You didn't see that part, though. All you saw was the white lady pointing a gun at a black lady. And now you're like, oh my fucking God, see white people this. You're only seeing one part of the story that they want you to see. Obviously, for obvious reasons, social media does this because 95% of Facebook, I've said this before, is to incite rage and make you mad and get you to share and click on articles and share it and write dumb shit. That's what it's about. But you guys are just falling right in for it. And I'm not talking directly to anybody. I'm just saying in general, most people do this. They don't put in the time to research the actual problem or what actually happened, the full story. They take that 30-second video as the entire story and truth of what actually happened. And then, like in my situation, you're at work and someone comes up to you and they go, hey man, you should talk about this on your podcast because blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, that's not the whole story. And then they go, oh my God, you're a fucking blah, 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 or whatever. You're a fucking racist piece of shit or whatever. Dude, you are part of the problem. You're not looking at things as a whole. You're not looking at the whole story, and you are making yourself look really stupid because you're a sheep falling in line with everybody else because they're being controlled by the media. They're literally controlling how you think and what you do by sharing these little tiny clips, right? Because say I have an hour-long video, I can cut 30 seconds out of it to push a narrative against black people. And I could take another 30 seconds out of that same video and post it to push a narrative to be against white people. Or I could take another 30-second clip out of that same video and push the narrative that we need to vote for Trump or we need to vote for Biden. It all depends on the clip. Like, it all depends on the narrative they want to push. They'll take whatever clip they want, chop it up, edit it however they want it to look and however they want you to feel, and then they'll just push that out there into the world and get you to fucking fall right in line. And it's sad. It's really fucking sad because we're destroying ourselves as fucking humans doing this. And I don't know, man. I just sit back and I observe. I don't partake in sharing viral videos or even commenting on shit like that. I don't fucking care. You know why? Because my opinion means nothing. And that's the case for most of us. Our opinion doesn't matter. You know what matters is physical and real action. We need to take real fucking action to make change. You know what I'm saying? So until that happens, it's just gonna be like this, and it's just gonna get worse. Same with the whole race issue. I shouldn't be bringing this up, but racism is never gonna go away until you stop labeling people. Like you could have a lady protesting for the end of racism, and then she'll call me a white boy. You know what I mean? Well, that's part of the problem. That's part of the fucking issue right there, is we put these labels on things like black and white and fucking brown and Asian and whatever. But you know what the truth really is? The truth is we're all fucking humans, regardless of anything else. We're human beings and we're all the same. Whether you like it or not, we're all fucking humans and we're all the same. Now, individually, we might be different. Obviously, we have opposing ideologies. We have, different interests, different hobbies, those kind of things. That's obvious. But the real problem is putting that black and white label on shit. And then you're going to talk about ending racism, calling me a white boy. I'm calling you a black person. That's literally not going to solve anything. We're just running around in circles, and racism, honestly, in my opinion, isn't going to go away anytime soon. Like, even if we got rid of the labels, you're still going to have people that don't want to conform to a new ideology that they don't agree with, or even if it's a progressive way of life and it's better for everybody else, right? And I'm not a super like progressive person, but I'm all for ending racism and shit like that. You know what I mean? And I'm willing to do my part and get rid of labels and stereotypes and shit like that. But we need to come together as a collective to do that shit. You know what I mean? It can't just be one person or, a small group of people. So, but yeah, anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. I just thought I'd put that out there because I see a lot of people that I know and a lot of people that I actually fuck with falling for the shit on social media. You know what I mean? Like people will run into me at work and be like, oh my God, I'm so fucking pissed off. Did you see this thing that this person did, blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, well, did you watch the whole video? And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, did you watch the entire video that will literally show you why that person did that thing? And why they are justified in doing that thing, but they don't care about that because then that takes away from their thing. They're like, well, if they figure out the whole story, they can't be mad about it anymore, and then they don't have a reason to be mad, which is like 100% of their purpose in existing. It seems like you guys just want to be mad at stuff. So it's fucking stupid, man. Honestly, I don't know why we all can't just be happy and love each other. And I feel like that's asking for way too much. There's just so much hate and anger in this world, especially with social media nowadays. It's just it is sickening to say the least. But anyway, I guess I'll fucking hop off that. I could see my audio has been growing in volume because I'm over here getting a little worked up. But anyway, so off that topic and on to what I actually want to discuss. So last episode I talked about trying acid for the first time, and it was fun. Definitely an experience, and it changed my life. But something else that changed my life is salvia. Salvia daramorum. I don't know how you say the other word, but salvia, right? If you don't know what salvia is, it's an herb, like a plant. It's a hallucinogenic, and the way you get high from it is smoking it. So it's like a powder, you know what I mean? It's like a really fine powder, and basically they have different strengths. There's like 5x, 10x, 20x, 40x. 60x and 80x. Obviously 80x, like 80 times being the strongest. And I'm not the person necessarily to ask what that means, like what the 80x or 60x means. All I know is that it means that it's stronger. Maybe that means that it was sprayed with more chemicals. I don't fucking know, man. Well, we're not talking about K2 here. K2 is just fucking disgusting, or spice is what I call it. So anyway, I've done salvia quite a few times, okay? And one of the most memorable times was like, how many years ago was it? It was like 10 years ago, maybe 8 years, no, 9 years ago, 9 or 10 years ago. I was with my little brother, and we were at my mom's house, and there was this smoke shop down the street. And I'm really bummed out that I can't remember the name of the smoke shop, because it was like a historical fucking building, dude. Like, that place has been there for a long time, and that smoke shop's been around for a long time. Anyway, me and my brother would go in there sometimes, and we would buy salvia. And one day we couldn't get any chronic, so we were like, all right, let's go buy some salvia and have some fun. So we went in, and I bought 80x salvia, the strongest shit they had, and it comes in like a little vial. You know, it was like sold in a gram at a time. And bought it, went home, and me and my brother continued on our rest of the day. We didn't really want to smoke it in the middle of the day, because we know what salvia does. And so we go on with our day, and then nighttime comes. And my mom was dating this guy named Eric. And he's a really cool dude, just chill, laid back, you know what I mean? Just, you know, like pretty much just like, give me a TV and a drink and I'm good, you know what I mean? Or, you know, and a pack of smokes. He's a really cool guy, and I'm glad my mom found him. If she's listening, that's why I put this in here. That's why I said that. You know what I mean? Okay, so, but he is a really good guy anyway. So he was there. He would stay there 99% of the time. So he basically lived with my mom. They basically lived together, right? And so it was nighttime. My mom cooked dinner like she normally did. Shout out my mom for always cooking dank ass steaks and salads. And we had this weird neighbor. I forgot what his name was, but he was like recently released from prison. And he was a weird guy, but he was really cool. All, you know, tattooed up, had a daughter. He was just a little bit older than me. I mean, I think he's my age, the age I am now back then. So, I mean, he's probably like almost 40 years old now. But anyway, we smoked a little bit of weed first. And I don't know if that helped or if that made things worse, but we were just smoking a little bit with the neighbor outside, and everything was cool. And then me and my brother went inside, and we were like, yo, we're going to do this salvia. So we went in my mom's room, sat down on the bed, and my mom's neighbor was in there. The dude was in there. He was wanting to, I don't know how, I don't even remember how he ended up in the room with us, but it was me, my brother, and him. And I was sitting on the edge of the bed, and my brother was sitting in a chair, like just some dinner table fucking chair. And Quentin takes a hit, and then he like slumps, you know what I mean? Like when you're if you've smoked salvia, you know, you kind of slump over and you just go into whatever fucking realm you go into. And he passed me the pipe, and we were smoking salvia on top of a little bit of weed. So this is what I'm saying. I don't know if it made it worse or if it made it better, but this is what happened to me. I put a little bit, I say a little bit, but I put quite a bit of salvia on top of the weed, right? I push it down a little bit, I spark the lighter, I take a fat ass hit, chokes me out, but I'm holding it in, you know, I'm holding it in, because I guess that's what you're supposed to do with salvia, is hold it in until you can't anymore. So I'm holding it in, and I could feel myself getting lightheaded because I'm losing oxygen, like I haven't breathed in like, you know, 60 solid seconds. And then I blow it out, and when I blow it out, like my head felt almost empty, like there was nothing in it, like it was just hollow. And then like this film, like kind of like a clear fucking, like a clear backdrop, just boop, went right in front of me. And it was you know, it was like whitish, clearish, like a whitish clear backdrop that just blew right in front of me. And I had the pipe in my hand, but I like slumped over on the bed onto my side, and that's when I fucking took off. I was I was facing the direction of my brother and the neighbor. And my brother started to get farther and farther away. Like it felt like the room was like just stretching out in length, like hella fucking far. And then it started to get really white. Like the farther and farther they got away, the whiter and whiter things got. And then all of a sudden, like this holographic school bus pulls up. It's like, it doesn't make any noise or sounds or anything. It just pulls up, and I see this like big school bus, and then all these little little people around it. I want to say elves, but that just sounds so fucking cliche. You know what I mean? When you talk to someone who was like on LSD or acid or something, they're like, oh my God, and there was little elves everywhere and they were bouncing and fucking, it just sounds dumb and cliche when I say that. But that's legit what I saw. They were like little people with fucking little hats, and they were little pointed hats and shit, and they fucking like were elves, dude. They were like legit elves. I mean, I don't think they had curled shoes or pointy ears, but still, I was like just laying there. This holographic bus pulls up. These elves are like dancing around it. And then I look to my right, and that's when I see like this big boulder with a tree coming out of the top, like a bonsai tree that had red leaves and stuff all over it. And that's when I started to feel like really smooth, like I was sliding down a slide with like thick ass KY all over it. It's really weird to explain, but I felt so good going down this slide. I wasn't going down a slide, but it felt as if I was just like smoothly ripping through space and time, and I was just, you know what I mean? It's so hard to explain. And then I remember like laying there, and I saw that rock and tree, and then I like look, like kind of tilt my head more to the left, and I'm in this like, I felt like I was underground, and then there was this big, so I was like underground. It felt like I was in a cave, and like 100, not 100, maybe like 50, 75 feet off in the distance was like this pool of water on the ground, but the water was like a orangish red color. And then there was like lights on the roof of the cave that were also like an orangish red color, and they would like blink, like one would blink, one would turn off, one would blink, like they were like going in this weird syncrasy of blinking and not blinking. And I could see the reflections in the water, because I couldn't really, like, I say that I couldn't move my head, but I couldn't move it like to an extreme extent. It felt like I had a limit on how much I could move my head back and forth. And it was just like me in this cave. And then looking over into the fucking like distance of these like rock beams that are going from the floor to the ceiling, I see these little like shadows like poking out behind the beams, like looking at me. Or that's what it felt like. It felt like, people were there looking at me, making sure I was okay, but they were too scared to come up and say anything. And I don't know why I feel that way. I just felt that way about them. I just felt like they had good nature to them, even though they looked really fucking dark and I couldn't tell what they were. I just felt like they had some kind of good nature. And then the next thing that I fucking remember is I'm like on this, like a plank, kind of like what like an ambulance driver would call, like a stretcher. You know what I mean? I was like on this plank stretcher, and I was being like taken somewhere in this cave. Like all I remember is like those beams like just moving past me, just the beams going past me and the lights flickering. And there was like, I felt like I was floating, but I knew I wasn't floating when I was tripping. I was on this plank stretcher thing, and I knew I was being carried away by those things that were poking their head out. And it made me feel comfortable, but it also made me feel like I was dead. You know what I mean? Like I was, after about a minute or two of, being carried on this plank, I was like, yeah, I'm for sure dead. Like I had that thought in my head. I was like, this is what death is. And I'm okay with that. I felt really good. And I felt confident in the fact that I was dead. Like I was like, I'm 100% sure I'm dead. I was like, this is what death is. And I never once crossed my head, like, how did I die? How did I get here? It was just like, I'm dead, and that's okay. And these things are going to carry me away into eternity. And I'm fine with that. My soul will live on, and I will be fine. And it was like this, like when I started to realize that, there was like this extreme, overwhelming heat that overtook my whole body. And but it not in a bad way. It was like being wrapped in a warm blanket on a fucking cold day, like wrapping yourself up in a big comforter that you just took right out of the dryer. You know what I mean? Like on a cold winter day. And I felt that extreme heat, and I was like, that's it. I like that. To me, that feeling was like my last moments on earth. And that was my body, finally, giving up. And I was like, it's 100, like it's done. I was like, the deed is done. There's no going back. I'm here now, and this is who I am. And like all of that happened like so fast. And after I started to kind of realize that I was dead and that I was okay with it, is when shit started to change slowly, but also fast at the same time. It's weird. It's really weird to explain. But I was being carried away on that plank, and then I had that feeling I was dead. And then we got to a wall. Like we just got to a wall. And I didn't know what we were doing. Like it happened so quick. Like we got to a wall, and then I go up. And then it was like just blueness. Like just it's hard to explain, like not the color blue, but like the feeling blue. I don't know, it's hard to explain. Like when you look at a really nice blue sky, and you just like, you feel good. And I don't know, man. We went up, and I started to go straight again, and I just felt like the love of the color blue. I know that sounds really dumb, but I felt the love from the color blue, and like I started to cry. I felt like when I was down there, I was like, I felt like I was crying, or like I needed to cry, and I was crying, but no tears or anything were coming out. I wasn't making any noise. It was like all eternal crying, or internal crying. I know that's fucking retarded. Hang on. And then after that blueness, I remember being in this area. It was like a dome, like a half a sphere. So it was like a dome like place. I don't know what to call it. Cuz it wasn't, it wasn't a house. It wasn't a building or anything. It was just a dome. And those things were a lot closer to me now. Those little those black figures that were hiding and shit. They were like really close to me now, and they were like, there was 6 of them, 3 on my left side and 3 on my right side. And I was still on the stretcher laying back, and we were in front of this like pool, like of clear like blue water now, but there was like smoky white like foam on the top, like kind of like and they were just beside me, and like I felt like this weird vibration, like a weird like ooh. It was like a noise and a vibration that was like going through my whole body. Like it felt like it went through the center of my head and down the absolute center of my entire body, and then it came out of my feet, and then that's when I got dumped into the water. And I felt like I was drowning. And then that's when I started to come to on my mom's bed. And I was coming to, and I started to like freak out a little bit. My brother and the neighbor were like outside of the room at this time, because their trips had already done past, and I was just doing mine on my own. And I started to come to on the side of my mom's bed, and I was like grasping for shit. I was like trying to grab at the nightstand and shit like that, and I was like gripping the fucking comforter really hard, and I started to like my brother said I was like screaming and making this really weird like squealing noise, and like breathing really weird, like and that's so dumb. Like, I'm trying to explain the best that I can. But basically I came to, and I was making all these crazy fucking noises, and I remember coming to because like I slowly started to like see shit where I was, and like realize that I was back on Earth, and I was so confused because I was like, I knew I was dead and I had been gone. Like, it felt like I was gone for months. Like, I know I was down there for like at least 3 or 4 months. And what I explained didn't sound like it could have lasted more than 20 minutes, right? But the feeling, like all that, like time passed by for me in a real way down there. Like time really passed by for 3 fucking months when I was down there. And I knew it did. Like the days went by, the sun came up and went down, or whatever it was down there. And I knew that all this time had passed. I knew that I was down there for months, and that I knew I was dead. And when I started to come to, I was so fucking confused. And I was fucking scared, because I was starting to get used to my new reality, my new whatever it was, being dead. And I was completely okay with it. I was comfortable, and I was almost like I'm a little hesitant at saying it, but I was almost in love with the thought of being dead, in that certain scenario, or in that situation. And I started to come to, and I was freaking out, making noise, and I was so confused, man. I could not understand what was happening, because it was like when I came to, like, I didn't understand who I was, like, as a person, you know what I mean? I almost forgot my name, and I, had, for the next, like, 2 weeks, I had trouble remembering things, like memories. Like, my brother would be like, hey, you remember when we went and did that the other day? And I'm like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? I was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, man. That never happened. And then he'd like pull out his phone and like show me pictures or something. And, it was a weird experience, because I look at experiences like that, and I'm like, man, what the fuck was that? Like in a biological, tangible kind of way, to explain, like, what was that? You know what I mean? Where was I? You know what I mean? And people would be like, oh, you were just, in your imagination, man. And you were just dreaming. But what the fuck is an imagination? I was actually somewhere else. I saw things, and I fucking felt things. And like, I had all these overwhelming feelings when I was down there, and like crying and love and death, all these things that I experienced when I was down there. Oh goodness. And I just had a lot of trouble coming back to Earth, you know what I mean, and dealing with life on a day-to-day basis, because it was like I came out of the trip, and I was like walking around my mom's house after I got my balance and stuff. And I almost felt like that was the dream. And I was like, I didn't know what was real for a little bit. You know what I mean? And it's hard to talk about, because it makes me sound crazy, and I get emotional talking about it, because it's fucking a trip. Like, what the fuck was that? You know what I mean? And I don't know, man. It's really hard to explain, because I didn't feel right for a while after that, after coming out of that, and nobody in the house knew how I was feeling, you know, and they would just come up to me like I was my normal self, and my mom would be like, oh, hey buddy, you have fun and shit like that, and I'm standing there like, who the fuck are you? You know what I mean? Like, I knew she was my mom on this earth, but I was like, what are we even doing, and where are we going? You know, and why am I fucking back here? And I would just walk through life, you know, day to day, and I would just question what the fuck I was doing and why I was here and why I came back when I knew I was dead and I was okay with it. So I had really struggled for a while. I wouldn't say with depression, but I mean, I was depressed a little bit, but it was more just confusion and not understanding what I was going through, and what I just put my fucking brain and my mind through, and what I just put my soul through, dude. Like, I couldn't grasp it, and I mean, obviously talking about it, I'm still unable to fully grasp what happened, but it's weird to look at things like that and wonder, you know, because a lot of you try to explain it to people that haven't experienced it, and they go, man, you're just, you know, you were just high, you're tripping. And I'm like, no, dude, shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't do drugs, you don't smoke, you don't do psychedelics, you don't do hallucinogenics, you don't know what I'm talking about. So you can't just write it off as this thing or that thing. Like Mr. Goody Two Shoes that's never smoked a cigarette, I don't want to hear your opinion, because you haven't been where I've been. You haven't seen what I've seen. You haven't touched what I've touched, and you haven't interacted with the beings that I've interacted with in this other dimension. And it was just frustrating because I felt like I couldn't connect with anybody on that level, and I couldn't, I just felt alone, you know what I mean? And it was a dark time. It was weird. It was really weird. And, you know, I never tried to really explain it to people, except for on this podcast. Is really one of the first times I've ever really talked about it, because I feel like people would have definitely looked at me in a different light. You know what I mean? They would have probably thought that I was, you know, maybe a little mentally unstable or something, and maybe I was and still am, but that doesn't take away from the fact that I experienced what I did, and I was down there for a very long time. Like, I know I was, and just being able to come back after what I perceived to be months down there, and just come back and be who I was again, was just so fucking hard. And I lost sight of myself for a while. I'm not gonna lie. I was fucking fucked up, dude, and it fucked me up, like, mentally. So but you know, I'm good now. You know, I mean, I've you know, been through a lot of weird trips, but that one's definitely at the fucking top for sure, if not the top, because you just, what do you do with that? You know what I mean? I got to walk through the rest of my life with that memory and those images in my head. Like, they're still so vibrant, and they're right there. Like, I could just, you know, pull them out of a filing cabinet and look at them whenever I want. You know what I mean? So it's, I don't know, man, but I feel like us as a species, we need to really look at things like that, like the psychedelics and hallucinogenics that form naturally on this earth, because dude, there's something to it, you know what I mean? Like, it's not just, you know, chemical imbalances and shit, dude. Like, there is something there. And I've said it numerous times before. Like, obviously we're a three-dimensional species, right? We can go up, down, left, right, forward, backwards. That is our 3 dimensions. But there are other dimensions that exist. There's fourth dimension, fifth dimension, sixth dimension. Like that's not hocus pocus just made up in a Harry Potter book. Those dimensions are legit and can be proven with physics and mathematics. Like those aren't just things that are theory. Those are scientifically proven facts. And it's scientifically a proven fact that we have evolved to only absorb this three-dimensional world, you know what I mean? But then you take something like, psilocybin, which is the psychoactive ingredient in magic mushrooms. You take that, and all of a sudden, your mind is opened up and your soul is expanded, and you can almost experience another dimension. I mean, depending on how much you take, but we got to look at stuff like that, like mushrooms and DMT, because a lot of people don't understand that DMT, dimethyltryptamine, is in your body already. Your body creates it and it's there. Like you listening to this right now, you have DMT in your brain and it's there. Your body created it and it's there. But why is it there? DMT is one of, if not the strongest psychedelic hallucinogenic drug. I'm not going to say hallucinogenic, but psychedelic. Okay? One of, if not the most powerful. And your body creates it, and it's in your fucking body. You know what I mean? And there's so many plants and so many animals that have DMT in them, but why? You know what I'm saying? We don't understand the why. And these are questions that I have. I want to get to the root. You know what I mean? I want to know why we have DMT in our body, why our body creates DMT for us. You know what I mean? Like, is there something we're not tapping into to be able to utilize that? You know what I mean? And the obvious answer is yes, of course. Us as a civilization, we have majorly declined from what our main objective should be, which is to come together as a collective, and we should work towards a fucking future of figuring out why we're here, where we're going, what is this universe, what is life, you know what I mean? But we're too worried about fucking black and white and fucking and all this other dumb shit, because we're just fucking animals. At the end of the day, we are animals. We've evolved and we're animals. We're just intelligent animals, and we're stupid also. Don't think just because we've evolved that we're smart. Most of us are pretty fucking dumb, and we're savages. And it would only take a few months for you to go from a fully formed, perfect human in society. All of a sudden, society crashes, civilization goes away, and you're back to being an animal again. We're really right on that line, that real fine line. And it's sad, man, because we could all be coming together for a better future and stuff, but maybe that's going to be the next chapter of humans. You know what I mean? It's obviously not going to happen for us. So after we go extinct from our own stupid actions and digging up all the fucking resources this earth has to offer, we're gonna kill ourselves, and then millions of years are gonna go by. The earth is gonna heal itself, and then another civilization of humans will rise again from the ashes, and hopefully after millions and millions and millions of years, that next civilization of humans, that next chapter, let's hope that they focus on something more than just this, than just what we're doing. And let's pray and hope that they find no fucking trace of our civilization on this planet, because we are an absolute disgrace to the rest of the fucking universe and intelligent life. It's sad that we sit here and we blow ourselves up and we take from the only fucking planet that we know. And soon it's just going to be gone, but it doesn't matter, right? Because it's not going to happen in our lifetime, and by that time you'll just be a fucking pile of bones in the ground somewhere. So until your bones decompose and, you know, you're forever forgotten. So anyway, guys, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed it. This was a little bit longer of one, or a little bit longer of an episode, but maybe that just goes to show you that I was really comfortable, and it just came naturally. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Go tell your mama that you love her. Go tell your dad that you love her. Grab your girlfriend by the back of the hair and yank that bitch back and give her a big old fucking smooch on the lips, and just let her know how much you appreciate her. Because like I say, you never know when you're gonna get in your car and you'll just never come back, dude. Life is short and life is scary. So, you know, make sure that, you know, everybody knows how you really feel. No regrets, right? No regrets. Anyway, guys, I've had a great morning. I hope you have a better day. And I love the fuck out of anybody still listening to this all the way through. You're a fucking champ. You're a trooper. And this is proof. If you listen to my podcast all the way through and you get to this point and you see me in public, come up to me and say, hey, I want my $5. Because if you listen to this podcast all the way through and you get to this point, I will give you $5 only if you mention this. So you see me in public, just be like, I want my $5. I listen to the podcast all the way through, and I'll know that you're a fucking champ and you really support my my podcast. So anyway, until next time, guys, it's the Hindsight Podcast. Peace the fuck out.